Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for our parent chat. I am Arlene Max Ma, and I am the founder of Spectrum Family Talks. We created Spectrum Family Talks to get involved with the conversation that is happening for so many families that have kiddos and loved ones that are on the spectrum, and share resources and bring in guests so we can get firsthand, like one-on-one, that little intimate setting that allows us to continue to feel supported and be aware and be great and be empowered on this journey. So my husband and I started this pathway. He was like, "You talk all the time anyway, so this is a great step for you to be able to use our platform to connect with more families and more professionals as we embark on our journey of raising our super kiddo." And he continues to make strides, and we're so excited about that. We could not have done this without being able to meet parents such as yourselves that offer encouragement, that shares resources, and everyone is really helping together. So tonight, we are so pleased to welcome Jessica Hall. Jessica Hall is the owner and founder, right, of Sensory Sitters. Sensory Sitters is childcare and respite care services. I can't wait for her to share with you what her desire and passion for creating this company has been, and also for us to understand what respite care is, because I personally thought it had nothing to do with children. So I was totally welcomed. I welcomed the understanding and the information, and then also I realized how much we needed it. Just as parents, you are so busy moving around and trying to navigate the steps of all of the therapy services that you go to, or just making it to the grocery store. You're always on, and having an outlet that's outside of your family network that you've created is a plus. And so I can't wait for you to hear more from Jessica, but I just want to highlight she has her graduate, uh, um, her bachelor's degree in psychology from the University of Illinois at Chicago. So I really would love to know, with your degree in psychology, how we got here. So, Jessica, welcome. And please share more about your experience and your company, and then how we can get into the care services for ourselves as well as our kiddos.
Yeah, thank you, Arlene. I really appreciate it. And thank you, Spectrum Family Talks. I'm really excited to be here today. I am Jessica Hall, as Arlene said. I am the owner of Sensory Sitters. I started it last year, and it came about as a really long journey, but a really good journey. I started off as a psychology major at UIC, and I knew I always wanted to work with people and support people in my community. I started looking for different ways. I thought I was going to be a heart surgeon, a cardiovascular surgeon. And then I just knew that path for me was not correct. So I heard there was a booth outside of my dorm, and they were showing like occupational therapy. And I was like, what is occupational therapy? I know what a physical therapist is. And now, years later, I've become an occupational therapy assistant, and I'm in my 5th year of that. I am also the clinical lead at a company called IS Landing, and I oversee physical therapy, speech therapy, social work, and OT. So I've been doing that for a couple of years as well. I've been at IS Landing for 10 years. I started off as an intern, and we had like 5 therapists there when I first started, and now that there is 3 different companies across 5 different locations. So it's really exciting to see me grow as a person, but then also see the companies I'm with grow as well. I wanted to become a respite care provider because my dad was taking care of my grandmother at the end of her life. She was the best person that I could ever met, and she helped raise me and my siblings and my cousins. Um, and I just saw my dad like really struggling to do like day-to-day things, and he was like, no, I've got this, like I can do it all by myself. And I was like, they are people here to help you, of course, like we're here to help you, but also I learned in OT school that there's people that will come to your house to just give you a break. And I was like, that is exactly what you needed. And at first, it took my dad a very long time to come to understanding like what respite care does and how they can come into your home and help you. And we met this wonderful respite care provider named Emma, and we still talk to her till this day. She's very lovely. She came every day for 5-6 hours to sit with my grandmother, make her meals, take her around the neighborhood, just enjoying the last few like moments of her life, which was really awesome and special. As an OT, I was like, why don't we have this more for children in the autism and neurodiverse population? That was really hard for me to Google it, and it was saying there were really long wait lists. You could get on vouchers, but a lot of people didn't understand what the vouchers were for and how they're used, and that like healthcare literacy. A lot of parents just didn't understand what respite care was. So I started the company with my sister to help families just be able to take a break. Like you said, go to the grocery store, take a nap, or if you just need to like pack for vacation or like you just need a break, that is okay. We are there to engage your child while you are able to take like a meaningful break. I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to share my screen really quickly, a PowerPoint. You all able to see the screen? Okay, so like I said, respite care can mean an hour to take a walk while the respite care provider stays in your home to care for your child. It could also mean a time for you to take a nap and chat with friends, or chat with friends while the respite care engages with your child. We provide at Sensory Sitters occasional sitters, so that can mean for anyone, neurotypical, neurodiverse, anybody that just needs occasional childcare services within their home. And then we also provide respite care, so respite care to families in the Chicagoland area for within the neurodiverse population, also medically clients with medically complex needs. We do charge $25 per hour, and then we also have low rate days within the month that I put a calendar out on the website, or I'll send it in like a newsletter to families about our low rate days. And you can select one of those. And then I also do, when I go out to events and things like that, I also do a raffle. So last event we had a raffle for 8 free hours of respite care for one family. How Sensory Sitter differs from Illinois Respite Coalition is I started this as an occupational therapy assistant. I've been working with kiddos with special needs for about 10 years. Clients and diagnoses and conditions I've seen are autism, ADHD, chromosomal disorders, children with G-tubes, Angelman syndrome, CP, and a lot more. I also work for a company called Let Mommy Sleep. It is a company that works with moms with postpartum depression, twins, and medically complex needs. I go into their house overnight and I assist the mom and the caregivers on sleep training. I do lactation, I do laundry, I do anything for the moms so they can take a break and actually get some sleep. And then I've also been babysitting for 10 plus years now. So it's been a long time, been a great time. Our mission at Sensory Sitters is to decrease caregiver burnout and provide resources and support to families. And then we really want to increase caregivers' quality of life and have meaningful breaks and just have a bigger support system that you can actually trust. Because I know a lot of the times that's harder having someone else come into your home and they might not know your kids and things like that. But as a clinician, I think it's really helpful for us to know the knowledge behind like certain things that kids do and how to help support your family. The benefits of respite care are providing mental health and the well-being of the primary care, the caregiver. Respite care indirectly contributes to better care for the child, as a healthier caregiver is better able to tend to the needs of their family and their child. And then we'll talk about some other supports later on, but there is Action for Children. They have a voucher that you guys can use. There's also Illinois Respite Coalition, and there is a wait list for them. And then I always tell parents to join like Facebook groups and other things like that, and Instagram groups, so they can just get their needs met and also have like a different type of support group. And then there's also nanny shares that a lot of families will do where they have two families and then one provider. That way it's like a lower cost. You also get to know the families that you're working with, and things like that. And then I have how to sign up. You would send an email to sensory sitters. We do a 5 to 10 minute virtual meet and greet with me, and then you complete the intake process, and then you guys pick a date. And then we are also on all of these social medias: TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn as well. Thank you.
So first of all, I thought nanny share was a made up thing in my head because I needed it. So I was
Mhm.
like, because I would always meet parents that had nannies, and I
Mhm.
didn't think that that was what I needed, but I needed it, right? And so I was like,
Yeah.
well, can we share? And sometimes
Mhm.
parents don't want to share. So I'll just,
That is
because they
true.
think you want
It's
to take them. But
Yeah. I think it's nice because it builds like a really nice community. And also, like your child is safe with someone and your child knows the other family that they might be playing with. So it's a little bit more comfortable for them to be in the same household with their friend or their peer or their neighbor down the street. And it just helps like become a nice, close knit community when you do nanny share. So it's always been a fun time that I've loved doing.
perfect. Thank you. And I
Mhm.
see some people are joining us. I'll let some questions get started here. Hi, Tiffany. Welcome. I'll let some questions get started. I'll pick up one question that I saw when we made the post on social media. Do you have how is there a region or range that you go to in the Chicago area for services?
Yeah, so right now it's all of Chicagoland area and then also neighboring suburbs as well. So south suburbs and then also north and a little bit west, so like Oak Park and stuff like that. Yeah. I on my website there's also the zip codes that we go to as well.
Okay, perfect. And then is there like a age range for that the loved one that can receive the services?
Yeah, right now we do 0 to 22. We really want to branch out because there is a really high population for adults with autism, ages like 25 to like in their 30s, where their caregivers also just like need a break, but they're older. Also, the clients might just like need someone to talk to throughout their day and things like that. Oh, I think
In your presentation, you mentioned about vouchers. Can you talk to us a little bit about vouchers and what that looks like and how people can sign up?
Yeah, so the Action for Children website, it's a really great resource. I highly recommend everyone check it out. They do a lot of great events and things like that, but their voucher you can use, I believe it's once a month you can do. You are able to sign up directly on their website and then they will send you like a request back. It's just basically a form letting them know like they want to know like how much money you make and things like that. So it's
In a
it's
second.
a voucher for families that have like
In one
lower
second.
socioeconomic backgrounds and things like that.
But you mentioned it was only once a month.
Yeah, they do limit it because there is like once you get on the voucher list, then it is a wait list. And there's a lot of providers that there aren't a lot of providers, even though they do have it accessible. There is a really long wait list for it as well. So I highly recommend if you do want the services, just put it in anyway, and they'll let you know if they accept or deny. Just you just want to get on that list if you do.
Okay. But your company does accept the voucher as well.
Yeah, I do not accept vouchers. I definitely do. We do private pay for right now, and then we're looking into insurance with like Blue Cross Blue Shield and some other private insurance companies.
Okay, that's helpful.
Mhm.
Um, your sitters are what trainings have they received?
So right now it's just me. I am in the process of training a new hire, which is really exciting for next month. They will also get CPR trained. They will go through the Illinois Respite Coalition's training for respite care. It's about a 10-hour training online. Then they will also get trained in just basic like babysitting care through Red Cross. And then they will also get trained in some sort of type of like crisis intervention. I am a safety care provider and trainer. I've trained all of my staff over at IAS, so I will also be training the staff at Sensory Cities as well.
Okay, go ahead. If you have a question, you could take yourself off mute and we can. Okay. All right, I'll go to my next one. You mentioned what are the benefits of sensory sitters coming to the home for the service?
I would say it just makes it more comfortable for the client and the families a lot of the times because you don't have to like transport or transition the client or the child. You also are in your own home. So if you want to stay there, I say that's a benefit. Some families stay while the sitter or like I'm there present in the home. Just makes everybody more comfortable. And then I get to meet and greet the child, play. First time I come there, typically the parents will stay for like 30 minutes, like 40 minutes, just to like see how they interact with me. And then they got also just like get some things done. And then if they need to leave, they feel a little bit more comfortable after that time period.
Okay. And then is there an opportunity to have like a consistent like schedule to have you like to have a sitter on a consistent once a
Yeah,
week, twice a
yeah,
month
of
type of
course.
situation? Okay.
Yeah, we do occasional and then we also do reoccurring, which is reoccurring is like you said, you just plan and book it in advance. And then we'll see if I have the availability or the new hire that I'm hiring. She also has the availability to take on those bookings. Typically right now, most parents are doing like 1 to 2 times a month just to like take a break, but some are also doing it reoccurring.
So I don't have a question, Jessica, but I just want to
Yeah,
say kudos to you. This is
thanks.
amazing.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you so
coming
much.
from I just left doing EI.
Mhm.
So I do see the caregiver burnout like on a regular basis. And
Yeah,
so yeah, kudos to you. And I'm
thank
also
you.
like right now in the process of doing something similar to what you're doing, but it's gonna
Awesome.
I plan on having it like just a center for
Mhm.
know, the
I think
caregiver.
it's so needed because, like, even I was talking to the Illinois Respite Coalition, and they were like, if we could get more businesses to do this, then we wouldn't be like such a high demand for it, and then more people would get service. And like you said, the caregiver burnout would decrease. I had a client the other day, one of their child, they have a syndrome where they don't sleep. So that means the parent is also not sleeping, and their
Right.
child is 12. So they haven't been sleeping for 12 years. And I'm like,
Wow.
eventually, like, I'm like, you can use a service like this or put in the vouchers or, it doesn't matter if you use sensory sitters or someone else. Like, it's just important that you also take care of yourself because, you have to take care of your whole entire family too.
Right.
Thank you,
Eh,
Rhonda.
You're
Thanks so much for that,
welcome.
Rhonda.
You're welcome.
We've gotten a couple of phone calls about parents just kind of wanting to understand how to seek assistance because they are kind of burnt out. And I think that energy when you're burnt out or you're frustrated, it transfers over. And then people automatically go to the kiddo and say the child has behavior or whatever. But I
Mhm.
think sometimes they could be overstimulated by environments or the people who are helping them out. So um, I think this opportunity for us to meet you and that to know that you exist is such a game changer because it allows us to understand that one, what is respite care, right? And then two, how do we get access to it? And I think those are the two things that's where the gap is for some people. The form for the voucher, is it a long form and can it be accessed online?
Yeah, it is not very long. It is online. I can actually send you the voucher. That way you can give it to everyone else, and link it. It's not very long. I think the process of them like contacting you is what takes the most time.
Okay.
But once you fill it out, no, that part isn't very long.
Okay. Yeah, I
Mhm,
would love that. And then we can share that resource out with the network. And then I also like I filled out the form for us to get on her list for Mac, right? And then one of the questions, and it was probably like midnight, and I emailed her and I was like,
mhm,
I need help. Like this is my real story. I was like, I need help. And I'm sitting up at midnight not because he was up, but I was trying to accomplish just the things that I didn't get to do the 2 days prior. And I put in my like request list some of the goals that I have for our kiddo, right? So like his toy area needs to be organized. I buy the things or I see the things or he gets these gifts and I don't quite
mhm,
know where to organize it or how to organize it. And then like we have visual aids for our child as well to help with language and routines and so forth. But I don't know where I'm supposed to hang them. And then we're still working on him pulling his clothes up in the back, right? He's got that front,
mhm.
he's got it
Yep.
down pat, Rhonda. But so my
Mhm,
point to this is I put all of that in my request. That's what I'm saying to you, parents. I put it all in there because in my mind, if she's a specialist, she's not only helping him with his goals, but she can kind of train me or I can observe what are some of these things. So my encouragement would be when we fill out these forms or we start to kind of ask for help, really ask for like the things that you need as well as the caregiver, because I think that could help us as we help our loved one gain independence and develop the skills. I think it helps us as the caregiver get the skills we need as well. So did I do that right when I did that?
yeah, I think that you did it perfectly. And I think that also just helps me as the provider. Like, I know coming in, like, what you also need assist with. And like you said, it helps not only the kiddo, but then also you and like that carryover from like home to like school to like wherever else in the community your child will go. They can work on those skills and it's really, really helpful and you'll see a lot of change.
Okay, perfect. And
Mhm.
then um I know we had a couple of people join us after you completed your slides, but do
Yeah.
you mind bringing back up your slide about, I think it was a slide about how to find you, and then the slide for Illinois Respite Coalition, that one, so they can capture that as well.
Yeah. This is how to find sensory sitters. TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and then also these are the other types of like support you can get. I also highly recommend if you also would like a different type of sitter, there's care.com and then there's also Sitter City. They are really great also finding like you just have to like specialize that it has like special needs. But some of the nannies there are also like OTs, PTs, speech, social work that just have like a part-time job or part-time nanny job as well.
And you said that one was Sitter City?
Yeah, Sitter City and then care.com. And then I'll be
Is
sending our oh, yeah, go ahead.
No, no, you go ahead.
I'll send you guys, I'll send Arlene, I'll send you the Action for Children voucher, and then I'll also send you the Illinois Coalition, how to get onto the wait list as well.
Okay. And as most of our parents know, these wait lists are pretty long. Thank you
Mhm.
for explaining. Part of the reason why they're long is because is it that there's not a lot of resources out there or
I would say it's providers right now that Illinois Respite Coalition was saying. There's not a lot of providers that do respite care. And if they do, they typically do it for like hospice or like people in like elderly population and things like that. So rarely it's like pediatrics right now.
Okay. Is there a weight requirement or limitation when for the individual, like for the client? I know you mentioned the age range, but is there a weight?
No, there's no weight. If we do need to lift, I also do a training for like safety and body mechanics. So like, you know, if you're lifting or helping a child do something around the house, just making sure we're also being safe. So no weight limit.
And then the couple of last questions that I had on here, do you have a certain time frame that you kind of like rotate out of a family, like when you take on a client? Do you break up with us after a certain time? Do we graduate out, or what does that look like?
No, I think you guys are going to be caregivers for a while. So some of my clients I've had before I started the company, and I've been seeing them for like 5 years. It really depends on like your availability, how often you want. If you're looking for more of those low rate days, I'd suggest like scheduling them like a month in advance, just so you can like plan out your days. That also just helps with like the flow of like what you might need help with. So like if you want like your toys organized, we'll do that like beginning of the month. That way, like towards the middle and the end of the month, if I see you 2 more times, that way I can help you maintain and do some other things. And if you also need to like leave and things like that, it's just more helpful to like plan it out.
Okay. And then is there like, you mentioned in some instances you do overnight. Is there a
Mhm.
time requirement when a parent is blocking for time or
No,
limitation?
typically I discuss that during like the meet and greet, like what are your needs for the time. Typically right now we're doing like 4 hour blocks. Sometimes people just want 1 hour, just to like, you know, do grocery shopping or things like that. um I leave it up to the parents to decide, and I'll recommend like, hey, let's take it like maybe 1 to 2 hours at first, and then we can increase later just to see like how things are going or what needs to be done during that time as well.
Okay, perfect. All right. Any other questions, parents? Here. That Let Mommy Sleep. Is that still a current organization?
Yeah, I am like a contracted worker through them, and I've been working for them for 2 years. It's pretty amazing. I love it. They train me a lot in different things, and it's really helpful. And you definitely see a difference for certain families.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So I live in the south suburbs, and my park district offers summer camp. Now they do an after school program at my son's school, and the person in charge really recommended me letting my son do the summer program, but she thinks my son needs an aide. He's verbal, he's interactive, but being around a lot of kids is overwhelming. So he does a lot of parallel play, and she doesn't have the manpower to give him like a one-on-one assistance. Now, she did tell me that the South Suburbs offers a program where they can match us with an aide, but she never gave me the information. And when I looked it up, all I could find was summer camps to send him to that had aides, but not a organization where an aide will come to me so I can send him where I want to. Do you have any information about that?
I can look into it. I know the city of Chicago definitely has that program, but I've heard from parents recently that it is very hard to get the aid because of the wait list as well. But I can look in. What suburb are you guys in?
I'm in Richmond Park, and she
Okay.
just said it was called South Suburban Special Needs. But so when I went online and I Googled it, and everything that came up just showed the suburbs in the surrounding suburbs in the South Suburbs that have
Yeah.
camps where you can send, special needs autistic children, but I didn't find anything where it like would match me with an aide so I can send him to a camp, of my choosing.
Yeah.
And I reached out to her a few times and she hasn't responded, and I just kind of feel stuck at this point.
Yeah.
At the end
No,
of the
I would
school
feel
year,
stuck
I
too.
didn't want to
Yeah.
wait till the last minute to put him somewhere. So yeah.
And she's allowing you, if you like hire outside services, like someone can come in and be the aide.
Yes.
Oh,
Because
okay.
she
I
told me
would,
before
yeah.
she's had, autistic children in the summer camp, and
Mhm.
they've done that.
Okay.
But as far as just me enrolling him, it's a lot of kids. She doesn't have the manpower to give him a one-on-one person with him, because he will wander off if he gets overwhelmed. He'll just
Yeah.
walk away.
Okay. Yeah, typically I've seen families go through like outside services. So like sittercity.com, like if you look and you put in like, hey, I need like an aide, a person to be with my son, and then tell them like diagnoses, what time. Pretty much a lot of people like in the therapy world, typically like during summer, especially if they work for CPS, they are looking for outside summer jobs because during that time CPS is not, they're not contracting those OTs, PTs, speech social workers during that time. So I would say put in an article or a posting about on censorcity.com, and that will get you a lot of people asking like to be the aide.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
So Tiffany, do you know already where you're gonna put him?
So I'm going to reach out to his daycare, because they do summer camp for kids. But I wanted to get him in a real summer camp setting so that he can kind of get help navigating bigger crowds. His daycare is a home daycare, so it's
Okay.
limited.
Yeah.
It's the kids he's known, because he's been going there since he was 1. So I want to give him more exposure in bigger crowds. He doesn't, his reaction to big crowds has gotten a lot better. He can
Okay.
kind of calm himself down. He'll ask for his headphones, but he'll walk away. He just kind of will wander off on his own. He requires a little bit of redirect, and she just doesn't have the manpower to give him somebody to just be with him when he's there.
Okay.
So
And I was asking because I work at a school now in Country Club Hills. I'm an occupational therapist too. So I work at a school in Country Club Hills, but I'm gonna be doing the summer school there from 8 to 12. So in the afternoon, if you needed somebody, I could give you my contact information. But you said you wanted somebody for camp hours, right?
well, he's gonna do the extended school year with
Okay.
his school district now, because
Mhm.
we're in District 159. So
Okay.
he's gonna do that through the end of June. But once that's over, I don't want him to be sitting in the house with me all day because I'm still working. He'll just be sitting in front of the TV all summer.
Mm-hmm.
Rhonda, if you feel comfortable throwing your information in the chat, and then Tiffany, we put Sitter City in the chat for you as well, the link if you want to grab it. I think first of all, kudos to you for asking and for putting them out there. I think it sounds like this is a blended opportunity for him to be around kids and like finding the resource to have him have some support, so he could be in those environments and then have someone keep him safe.
Yeah.
Because I think that's really smart.
I don't want to keep his world small. I
No,
want him to be able to be independent. I don't want him to always look for mommy
yeah,
or somebody he knows, because that's just not reality. So I really want to put him in a real camp where he has the opportunity to learn how to adapt
yeah,
a little bit
very
better.
smart. Yeah, we interviewed um Chicago Special Olympics 2 weeks ago. And we met with Jen, the camp director there. And I'll reach out to them and find out like how they can offer any type of like recommendation, because they did mention what you and Jessica just talked about. They did mention like in the profile when you fill out for like summer camps and things like that, if you want to request an aid, you want to have it in your kiddo's profile at the camp. However, there is a wait list for the aides. So they'll get the information, but them pairing them with someone is always kind of like the challenge. So like for Mac this summer, I'll go, or either like one of his cousins may go, but that the only consistent part would be me going. But that can't be forever because he learns and responds differently when he's not with his parents. When he, he's a whole different big grown-up kid at 5, when he's rocking with his cousins. But when he's with us, he's kind of like, well, you're gonna fix it, right? You're gonna take off my coat, right? So it is a big opportunity for them to be around peers. And even though they're cousins, like he has cousins that are in their 20s or 30s, to him, these are like role models. So there's a big difference of how he responds too. So thank you for reminding me of that. I'll share the video. It's in our YouTube channel, but I'll make sure you get that. And then I'll reach out to the Chicago Park District to see if they can offer any recommendation. But I like Jessica's idea of maybe if you got a sitter to accompany him during that time frame, what that will look like. And it looks like Jessica threw in the Illinois Respite Coalition information as well, as a resource. Thank you for that, Jessica. We've had some parents reach out about adult children. I think that could be another next step for us to kind of talk about like how to build supports for them, especially for the summer, like what that looks like. We can get some tools and resources out as well. Dr. Durden, how are you? Thanks for joining us.
Trying to unmute myself. Thank you. Yes, I'm enjoying the conversation, and thoughts are just running through my mind. Like, okay. What can I contribute? And so, thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely, we'll definitely have you come back and join us as a speaker. I can't wait. There is so much conversation, and again, this platform and space was created to allow parents to not feel so isolated. And then also, I think representation matters. Seeing each other, seeing us in these spaces is a big deal. And like Tiffany mentioned, our children's worlds shouldn't be small. Because the world is big, and the world will change when they get it and be a part of it. So I think us taking the steps and being big advocates is a huge deal in this game, and we need each other. So any additional comments or questions for Jessica?
Thank you, Michaela. Appreciate it.
Jessica, anything additional you want to share with us, with the parent group?
Yeah, I would say even if like you're not ready to do respite care, I would still say like reach out to me. I'm always providing resources to people for things, people in other states, people that don't know like if respite care is right for them or if they need another service or something like that. I'm always willing and able to talk to you guys and love to chat.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Well, everyone, I won't belabor us. I know this is dinner time and we're getting everyone ready for getting into that nighttime routine. So that is super important. I appreciate the time. Hey.
Hello.
Hey, he was like, let
Want
me
to say
on.
hi?
I know you're on a Zoom. He's like, I know it. So listen, this opportunity is not missed on me. I appreciate everyone. You really drive me to continue to want to do this work and be a part of the conversation. And again, it was moms and it was dads too. My husband's in the other room making dinner, but we went out, and our kiddo has Down syndrome, and he was recently diagnosed with autism. And we don't treat him like he has a disability. We treat him like there's a person inside that requires some extra steps, and that's us, not him, because he's got it, right? So we needed the resources and the knowledge to be able to navigate the world that we had no clue about. And so having opportunities to get resources and share them is really a passion and a driver. So what we'll do, the YouTube channel is up and live. We'll start to add these videos and any additional resources that we find. During the week, I am like making connections, and some people they don't have the time to be guests, but they do share materials like um we are going to have upcoming speakers talk about like IEPs and what that looks like in school settings, and then also how to have your child's IEP updated, because as your child grows, their IEP should be revisited. It shouldn't stay like a stagnant document. So that'll be our upcoming discussion and conversation. Early interventions. We met a lot of families that didn't have early interventions until their child was almost 3, and then it was over. So they didn't have the full benefit of early intervention support from 6 months until 3 years old. So that kind of put the families and the young person behind the starting point. And then just kind of knowing what to do next as far as what happens after the child comes out of EI, and then how do we identify schools, and then what to do when you are navigating the school system. So those are 3 of our upcoming parent chats that we'll have. Okay. All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for joining us and following us here at Spectrum Family Talks. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful evening.
Yay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I enjoyed the
Have a good evening.
presentation.
Thanks, everyone.